What I'm talking about today has the power to change your life if you are willing to listen carefully. You tell yourself a story in your head every day, and then that story you tell yourself goes on to determine the trajectory of your life. Today, the story I want to talk to you about is the one that you tell yourself about your own identity. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with your current story and tell you what to tell yourself instead. I'm also going to share with you the missing piece of the puzzle, because if you don't do this part, none of it will work. What we believe to be true about ourselves is a self-fulfilling prophecy. When we believe that we are a certain way, our belief about ourselves will go on to then determine our actions and our behaviors. So if we believe that we're not worthy, we will then go on to do things in our life to confirm that we're not worthy. Let's look at an example to illustrate this point. Person A has a positive belief, like I'm good at public speaking, and person B has a negative belief, like I'm bad at public speaking. So if our beliefs influence how we behave, person A, who believes that they're good at public speaking, may be more likely to volunteer for presentations, they may practice more, and they may appear more confident, leading to a positive experience and further growth. Person B, however, who believes they're bad at public speaking, might avoid all public speaking opportunities, they will likely not practice, and they will lack confidence while speaking. This then leads to a negative experience and robs them the opportunity to grow. So through this cycle of belief and behavior, the initial expectation of the person, whether it's positive or negative, tends to be realized, hence making it a self-fulfilling prophecy. The good news is all beliefs can be changed. So today I want to help you identify your beliefs about your identity that are currently holding you back. It's that story that you're telling yourself currently. We're going to try figure that out together, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to change those beliefs and that story. Okay, let's start by imagining a common story that someone might be telling themselves. We'll call this person Rob. So Rob is 32 years old. For as long as he remembers, he's always believed that he's not very creative. This story started when he was a kid. He tried drawing, but his pictures never looked like his friends, and he got discouraged. His art teacher once said to him he should stick to things that he's good at, like sports. He took this to mean that he wasn't good at anything creative. As an adult, this belief has followed him his entire life. Whenever a friend suggests a creative activity like a pottery class, Rob immediately says something like, "Oh, I'm not the creative type." He feels a little twinge of jealousy every time he sees his friends with a hobby like playing a certain instrument or painting, but he always dismisses it by reminding himself that it's just not who he is. Because he believes this story about himself, he then avoids any activities that may challenge it. He's trapped in this loop where his belief that he's not creative prevents him from doing anything creative at all, which then reinforces the belief and makes it even stronger. So let's rewrite Rob's story. The first step to rewrite Rob's story is to challenge his belief. He needs to question the evidence. Is it really true that he's not creative? What if creativity isn't just about drawing perfect pictures? His new story might start with a simple, deliberate action. He could sign up for a pottery class, not with the intention of being a master potter, but just to try it. He could sign up to start learning a new instrument, get lessons. And instead of saying, "I'm not creative," he could start saying, "I'm learning to express my creativity." He will then try to get into the habit of every time he says in his mind, "I'm not the creative type," he catches himself and says, "Actually, I am a person who is capable of creating." He will still have moments of doubt from his old identity of feeling as though he's not a creative person, but he's now mindful of it and catches himself and takes action, even very small, simple, tiny steps to start gathering new evidence about being or learning to be a creative person. Each small step is a new sentence in his life story. This process shows him that creativity isn't a fixed trait. It's a skill that you can develop. So he's not rewriting his identity from scratch, he's just expanding it. So with Rob's story, you may have noticed that I mentioned a couple of the thoughts and the things that he'd be saying in his head, like, I'm not a creative person, I'm just not like that. This is his inner voice. And I want you guys to recognize that your inner voice is the narrator to your life story. So what that means is your inner voice is telling the story of your life. That means you have to be so conscious and mindful of your inner voice so that you can create a life story that you love and that you're proud of. You're in charge. You've got this. You can rewrite and tell your own story from a new perspective. And I want to help you with that now. So let's find your life story that you're currently telling yourself. The birds are loud today. Sometimes the parrots have a bath in the gutter on the roof when it's been raining and you can see them like flapping their wings in the gutter. Does that mean the gutter's blocked? Okay, so how do we find your own story? Let's try to locate this story that you're currently telling yourself that is really taking control and running your life at the moment. When we rewrite our story, we're going to be happier, we're going to have a lot more life fulfillment, and we're going to be more likely to accomplish our dreams and our goals. So number one is what I've just mentioned, is listening to your inner critic, your inner voice. Whatever you're saying to yourself, that inner voice is narrating your life. You want to be paying attention to any negative thoughts that are popping up into your head. These are often the most direct clues to find your limiting beliefs. What do you tell yourself when you fail at something? Do you say, I'm so stupid, I'm just lazy, I'm not very good at this? These are the lines of your story. Number two, you want to look for avoidance. What activities, opportunities, or conversations do you regularly avoid? The things that you don't do often reveal a fear or a belief that you're not good enough to do them. If you've always had this dream of starting your own business, but you're not taking the steps to do it, ask yourself, are you telling yourself a certain story? Are you telling yourself that it just wouldn't work out for someone like you? Are you telling yourself that you're not smart enough to do something like that? So what are you avoiding? That can be a really great way to access and find your limiting beliefs. And then number three is to identify your I am statements. These are the really powerful parts of your story. What do you say when you describe yourself to others or even to yourself? Do you say, I'm just a shy person, I'm bad with money, or I'm not athletic? When you find these statements, you've found the core of your current story. As a side note to all of this, what I've said about noticing your inner voice, it can be really loud, your inner voice, or it can be really quiet. And those quiet thoughts, they're really in the subconscious. I had a hard time accessing that part and those limiting beliefs when I was first doing this work for myself. Something that helps your inner voice become a lot louder is meditation. So if you don't do that already, really consider meditation to be a practice that you want to integrate into your life, because it creates more self-awareness. When you get quiet, when you get calm, you become more aware and your inner voice will become louder. That intuition and that intuitive voice will also become louder too. So just keep that in mind if you do find that you struggle to notice your inner voice. I think I've said this in a video recently where I like to use my shower time as a time to practice this. So every day I have a shower and I habit stack this. So I practice listening to my inner voice in the shower. The shower is often a time where we get great thoughts or like creative thoughts come up, or we start ruminating on stressful things in the shower as well. So this is just a really nice time to also stack that habit and start noticing your inner voice. So if that aligns with you, then definitely try to start noticing your inner voice in the shower. Okay, so now we've located our current story, and it is great to locate it and rewrite it. But how do you actually believe that your new story that you're going to tell yourself is true? And how do you make it part of your new identity? Listen carefully. Embodiment. That is the missing piece of the puzzle. Embodiment is the process of physically living as the person that you want to become. It's about moving a belief to just being in your mind to actually being in your daily actions, making it a tangible part of your life. We'll talk about exactly how to do that in just a moment, but for now, just know that you can't just speak this new identity into existence. The real transformation happens when you embody it. Think of it this way, your old story is a really well-worn path through the woods that someone's been walking for years. Your new story is a brand new trail. To make it a real noticeable path, you have to walk it and walk it repeatedly until the grass and the leaves flatten and you have this beautiful new path, and then that becomes your default path, and that new trail is your new identity. So in saying that, at the beginning it takes a bit of work and it takes a bit of convincing yourself, but the good news is that your brain is actually designed for this type of change. There is this very cool thing called neuroplasticity, which actually means the brain is malleable, which means it can change. You're not stuck with these beliefs that you have about yourself. By consistently choosing your new empowering story and focusing on new positive thoughts and habits, you create and strengthen new neural pathways in your brain that will eventually be the dominant paths. So how do you embody this new identity? If you're trying to improve your confidence with public speaking, whenever you are going throughout your day or you face a challenge, ask yourself, what would a confident public speaker do in this occasion? What would she do? That person you're trying to become, what would they do in this particular situation? They would put themselves out there. They would practice more. They would get a coach to help them even more. They would identify their strengths, identify their weaknesses, and set goals to improve both of them. If this new identity is someone that you are just dying to become, like you really want to be this new identity, it will be so much easier for you to embody it when you're just starting out. You're really trying to change that limiting belief about yourself at the beginning. It can be difficult if you really don't have this clear vision of this new identity that you want to be. So be clear about who this person is that you're trying to become. Who this person is who is living your dream life. Really think about that and then act as if you were that person when you come across challenges. Act as if you were that person in your everyday life. And slowly, little by little, after each action, you will start to become that person and you will start to believe that you are capable. You will really start to reinforce that belief that you are capable to become that new person. Because you just have to gather little bits of evidence for your story. And the more evidence you get, the more you will believe that you are capable. So when I was trying to become more of a calm and present mother, I would always ask myself in the moment, what would a calm and present mother do in this situation? And then in that moment, instead of raising my voice, instead of getting angry, I stop. I ask myself, what would she do? She would take a really deep breath. She would probably say out loud, I'm feeling a little stressed. I'm calming myself down. I'm taking a deep breath. During other days, she would make time for rest. She would prioritize meditations, and she would put down her phone more to be present with her son. That is who I really wanted to become. So I identified her, and in those stressful moments, in my day-to-day moments, I would always ask myself, what would she do? And I know what she would do because I've clearly defined how I want to be. Just simply asking yourself that question throughout your days as you are going throughout your days is the easiest way to embody this new identity within tiny actions in your day-to-day life. Nowadays, I have goals and I have this identity that I am working to become. And when I think about this identity and this person I'm becoming, I take action according to the person I'm becoming. This is how you embody your new identity. If you want a clear step-by-step guide to finding those limiting beliefs, mastering your mindset, and really embodying this new identity that you are becoming to then go ahead and build lasting habits, I have this free guide called the Inner Growth Starter Kit, which you can download in the description. It will help you with all of these things and it makes things really clear. So it's the perfect guide to go alongside this chat that we've had today. So definitely download that for free in the description if you want to get into this work. So YouTube has chosen this video on the screen here specifically for you if you want to watch some more. Today's daily gratitude is going out to my mother-in-law for always having our back and sending very comforting messages of support from the other side of the world. I'd love to know, who are you grateful for today?